Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 530 News with Jill Valley.
Good evening, I'm Jill Valley. Thank you for watching tonight. Today, the Missoula Health Department reporting 4 additional COVID-related deaths. COVID-19 concerns have given back to school a whole new meaning.
But we're still together, just virtually. And this way, you don't have to have good table manners. You don't even have to wear pants.
Republicans, including Mr. Gianforti, have talked about developing more of our natural resources, timber mining, coal, gas. And there's companies out there that are salivating to dig under Montana's dirt and to do some harvesting there. What is your plan for extraction, and how are you going to balance that with the environment and the potential for job creation?
This is exciting. It's our second virtual City Club meeting. And if you think about tax increment financing, that may not be the sexiest topic we could come up with.
Longtime Missoula journalist and broadcaster Jim Harmon recently did something he'd never done before. He wrote a book that shines a light on his profession and Missoula's rough and tumble days of the late 1800s. I'm Jill Valley, and welcome to the premiere of MTN Saturday Morning. This newscast will be a little different than what you might be used to, but we hope it will be a great way for you to start your weekend right.
This has been a prolonged event. There's even commercials now telling us it's okay to feel upset. It's okay to cry. Celebrities telling us it's fine to feel angry or even overwhelmed. But we thought, instead of just relying on those guys, we're going to go ahead and talk to the experts about it. Talk to one in particular, Dr. Robert Valine, a neuropsychologist in Missoula.
Before you go, this situation, which I attempted to hide from you, which I should know by now that never works, figure skating mishap. Okay, look at this guy. He's got a microphone. I think he's supposed to be the reporter. I don't look like that, do I?
We're going to have an exciting conversation about taxes. And you're thinking, yuck, on a Friday, you really want to talk about taxes? Well, here's why. The Washington Post just did an article, and the title of it was, "The 2020 Tax Year, It's Going to Be a Hot Mess."
Thank you. My next question goes to Mr. Rosendale. When I drive home at night, for the last few nights, I've seen a family living in their van near the station. And I don't know their story, but it makes me think about some of the wealth inequality we have in this country. Is there anything that you would do to help more Americans be financially secure, not to be wealthy, but just to be able to have a home and even maybe save for their kids' college education down the road? But to follow up on that, have you been able to enhance the law enforcement presence on the reservations? Because that seems to be a criticism that this stuff goes unchecked.
Santa, right now I want to, and you know them, but let me tell you about Tayson and Emerson. They're going to join us right now and talk to you. Go ahead, kids. There's Santa for you.
All right, thank you. My next question goes to Mr. Bullock. You issued shutdown orders in Montana this spring when we had far fewer cases, and as we saw today, 721 new ones in Montana. How come no drastic action now when it seems like Montana is suddenly a hot spot? And do you feel like you're managing this crisis effectively? Good evening, I'm Jill Valley. You may have heard it's election day across the country, with time ticking down before we learn the outcome of everything from that presidential race to who will be Montana's next governor.
This is going to be an exciting discussion. I mean, what a week, and we still don't have a resolution 100% to the rest of our political landscape. So politics it's fun, it's fascinating, and I'm so glad that we're going to sit here and talk about what happened last Tuesday and what could come. So let me first introduce the panelists, and they are amazing. First is Sally Mock.
As we start to rebound from the effects of COVID-19, many Montanans need financial help. The Rebound Montana Relief Fund is a partnership between MTN, AMB West Philanthropies, and the Montana Community Foundation.
What about the rest of you? I know that Jemiah's going off, but you guys are all starting to think about where you might go. Has this pandemic changed your trajectory at all, or has it made you think differently about where you might want to go to college? Do you want to pay that much to go to a big school online only, or do you want to stay home and maybe try to get through this? Discuss.
You can still see Chief Alexander through the ruins of his portrait, as today employees of the People Center in Pablo go through part of the facility that was hardest hit by Sunday's arson. For years, longtime journalist Jim Harmon has written a weekly column in the Missoula Current called Harmon's Histories. It's proof old reporters never die, they just find new things to write about. It's been a while since drive-in movie theaters ruled the night. But in this age of COVID, they might just be what the doctor ordered. This is a hometown, homemade drive-in movie theater, created through the efforts of the St. Ignatius Chamber of Commerce.
It's really fun. I went to one house, and the little girl didn't cry, but she was like, she was very skeptical.
Do you have termites in your smile? It says here in this song that you do.
So Sovereign is in the small town of Plains. He got more than 100 responses from around the country of people willing to see if they could be his living donor. But what Sovereign did not know was there was a woman, somebody he'd never met before, who was going through the process herself to see if she could be his living donor. But where in the world was this woman? As it turns out, right here in Plains, Montana.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Family and friends of a young Missoula woman who died while scuba diving in Glacier National Park are remembering her as a bright light in this world. An 18-year-old who was compassionate and funny with a great sense of adventure. A young woman who was ready to take on the world. She may be gone, but it's hoped a memorial in her name helps lift up those who need it so they too can live their best life. Linnea Rose Mills, named after the flower that grows abundantly in Montana. During her 18 years on this earth, this young woman developed a worldview much bigger than just the big sky.
Linnea had a non-linear lifestyle. Like she didn't really care about what she was supposed to do or what other people did. She did things that she wanted to enjoy.
Her family lived for a time halfway around the world in Bhutan. She was just a child then. But right now, thousands of butter lights burn in honor of her.
You know, she was our Buddha baby, this peaceful child like this. People remember her because she was this kind of little shiny light.
My name is Linnea.
Her life was filled with friends and family. She was a lifeguard for Missoula's Parks and Rec. She played on the Hellgate High golf team. She worked for the Missoula Boys and Girls Club every Friday and was about to start a new job in a local group home. She recently embarked on a 7,000-mile road trip with just her dog. Not surprising she'd take on that adventure. By the age of 15, she was already a certified scuba diver and explored the Great Barrier Reef. She had a passion for diving. But November 1st, while in an advanced scuba diving course at Lake McDonald in Glacier Park, something went wrong, and she drowned. While the family waits for an investigation to detail what happened, they're simply remembering Linnea.
On November 1st, she died doing something that she truly loved doing, and I think that if there's one way you can think of Linnea, it's that she just wanted to help others and spend her life exploring and doing things she loved.
We knew that we had to let her spread her wings. She's always been a very safe, careful, thoughtful person. She's loved adventure. That was the kind of person she wanted to be and we wanted her to be.
That's what she did. She found like her strengths and she figured it out. And she was so excited about what's next. You know, what I could say is she was doing what she loved. I mean, I will say that. There's no doubt she was pursuing every passion.
The family has started the Linnea Rose Mills Memorial Fund. Her brother Nick is the administrator with her close friends as advisors. They plan to use the money for things Linnea would want, for people in need, for troubled or suicidal youth. Instead of thinking what could have been, her family remembers what was.
In a way, I've come to peace with the fact that her life was going to be 18 years, and that's a tough one for her mother, you know.
Linnea's family tells me the investigation into her death is ongoing and it's multifaceted, but they're grateful to the National Park Service for taking such a careful and considerate approach to this investigation. Now here's the information for the Linnea Rose Mills Memorial Fund. You can send donations to the address on your screen or make a direct donation at any Clearwater Credit Union in Missoula.